He's prompting Connecticut lawmakers to find new ways to rein in abuse. Today, a vote on a bill to give the state more power.
But Republicans say this will never hold up in court. Your chief political reporter, Susan Raff, is live in Hartford with what's in this proposal. Susan.
This bill is now being debated in the Senate, and it could be a long time. Now, Senate Democrats tell us that people are telling them that they want something done to limit what ICE can do. This bill, if it passes, would allow you to sue ICE if you feel your civil rights are being violated. The presence of ICE has created fear, and there's been lots of violence across the country. Here in Connecticut, people have been taken away from their communities, including children. Kevin was a high school student in Meriden. He was taken by ICE along with his father and brought to a detention facility in Texas for 6 months. He has since been released and brought home. Lawmakers have already passed legislation limiting what ICE can do. The Trust Act restricts local and state law enforcement from cooperating with ICE. Now Senate Democrats want more limitations. They want to make it possible to sue ICE for civil rights abuses and restrict how they use data from license plate readers. Republicans say it's impossible. Democrats say they have a strong case.
We're here today putting forth legislation in the state of Connecticut to protect the residents of the state of Connecticut from the excesses of the federal government. I don't know if that's ever been done in this building.
You cannot override the federal government. It's that simple. So this is purely being done for political purposes. The Democrats know it.
After being voted on the Senate, the bill would need to go to the House for final approval. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, what else is in this bill, and will Governor Lamont sign it? Your chief political reporter, Susan Raff, Channel 3, live at the state capitol.
Thanks, Susan.